Hi there and welcome again to the Explaining History YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about, again, how to deal with sources and source-based questions. And I want to talk about this issue of authorship. Now, authorship simply is, well, who wrote it? Now, this is often given in a source. You might have a source from a particular politician or military leader or another significant historical figure who talks about, who gives content within the source, and then you know who wrote it. This is fine. Often, you don't have that sense of, you don't have that information. So there is something that can still be gained from that. Let's say you have a source about, I don't know, the German Revolution, and the source is about sailors mutinying in Wilhelmshaven, and we get the idea that somebody thinks this is a good thing, but without knowing who that person is, whether they are a revolutionary, a soldier, a worker, or even if there's somebody from the Kaiser's government that suddenly thought, this is generally a positive thing, at least we're getting rid of the Kaiser who's not very good at the war, we've got a problem with the source. Now, having a problem with the source isn't actually a problem for you. Having a problem with the source is actually an opportunity for you because you can identify what the problem is. The whole point about sources is that you're normally being challenged to look at things from the point of view of an historian. So if somebody was writing a book on the German Revolution, they'd want to be able to identify that here's a source, we know what it says, but we don't know who said it. It might be the moment for the historian to go and find out. Or it's possible maybe that information just doesn't exist and nobody's going to find out, in which case we can actually say what the limits of knowledge are, what the limits of knowable things are. And again, this is good. Now, what happens when you have a source and it's by somebody, I don't know, let's say Churchill, somebody's had a very, very long career and who has said a lot about a lot. There are a number of key figures like this. Well, it's important then to look at when this key historical figure that said a lot about a lot is talking. If you look at Churchill, for example, he says different things at the beginning of his political career in the 1910s and 20s than he does towards the end of it in the 1940s and 50s. He has very different political outlooks. And the better you understand how his views change over time, the better you can place in context what's actually being said. If you look at Martin Luther King, by the end of the 1960s has gradually drifted towards the left. His ideas are more socialist than previously they had been. So being able to know who said who contributed the source, who wrote it or spoke it, is fine. And then placing that within a historical context, authorship within historical context, that again will yield you further marks because you're able to make key distinctions. If you can say about Churchill that this is a quote by him, but obviously this is not the fight them on the beaches Churchill, this is the Churchill during the People's Budget kind of era. That will yield you more marks, and that's what we're all about. In the next video, we're going to talk about audience. So back in a moment. Thanks very much, and remember to subscribe and to say nice things. Thanks. Bye.